Hello, happy Sabbath. I'm going to talk about our experience, well, my experience specifically in Belize. So, the most memorable moment from this trip for me was when I worked in the Bible station with Junie, and one of the days he told me his favorite part about the trip was dancing because we did like sign dancing for the kids. And so after like he told me that, I would notice more of him dancing everywhere. And it was so adorable actually. So that was a nice moment throughout the trip. Um the most challenging part of the trip I would say is the heat because it's a continuous aggressive heat that is not just hot but is also humid. And so you're consistently sweating, and like the previous sweat is getting piled on top of with the new sweat, and that is just happening all of the time. And in the locations that we were working, there was working and staying, there was no AC. So in the move center, no AC. The bus that we used to travel, no AC. At the church school, no AC. um and so you're just constantly sweating, constantly wet, trying to find some sort of like remedy or anything to like ease the heat. And the only options we had is like at move we had like standing fans, and sometimes that air was hot too. On the bus all we could do was open the windows, and in at the school some they have a few fans in each room, but other than that all we could do was like use like hand fans and fan ourselves, or like wear hats. But there was really just no escaping it, so that was very, very difficult. Another hard part was the toilet. It was in like a little room, um and there was no light in there, and there was also like no paper towels either. um but and sometimes there was bats too. So it wasn't a 5-star experience, but it was definitely difficult. But it made you not want to use the bathroom. I still did because I didn't want to hold my pee, but it was something. So if it wasn't the bats that you were afraid of, you just didn't want to be in the dark. And if you didn't want to be in the dark, you just weren't sure what germs are on the toilet seat. And it was just kind of like a back and forth, back and forth. But overall, it wasn't horrible. Like, at least it wasn't an outhouse, but it was definitely difficult. The moment I felt the most grateful during the trip was definitely on Saturday when we got to eat meat for the first time after like 4 days. Because while we are at Move, we ate only vegetarian, and mind you, the food was so good too. So like honestly, I kind of forgot we were eating vegetarian because it was that good, and I was eating well. Like I was like never like starving or anything like that. Like I was felt satisfied and fed, and it was very, very good. Um, but when we got that first piece of chicken on Saturday, like evening, ooh, it was so good, and I was very, very grateful that I consume meat. Um, and also when we got to San Pedro, I was also very grateful when we got that nice burst of AC, and and I finally felt freezing after like 5 days. That was amazing actually. Like even on the van ride over to the hotel, like it was so cold in there, but I had like felt no desire to complain because I had been sweating for days on end, and I was like, this, you know what, I'm just gonna take it in and enjoy being freezing and shivering right now. um some things that I learned or felt while working with my teammates during this trip was definitely, just because something isn't going my way doesn't mean it's going the wrong way. Like, I like thinking about things very strategically. So if like if the program's designed to be this many minutes long, like do it that long. But I found that like when everyone was able to settle into their roles, they ended up doing them to the best of their ability and way better than they could have been done if they were strategically followed to a T. And so just because it wasn't going the most ideal way, it still went really well because everyone was able play their to play their role efficiently because they did it their way. Yeah. But also I felt a lot of joy during during this trip because it was just really nice to see to see all the kids be so grateful for all the work we were doing, seeing all the leaders and stuff like interact with the kids and make memories and get close to one another. So it was just a lot of smiling and giggling throughout this entire trip. And the last question of, did I gain any spiritual lessons or make any personal commitments during this trip? I kind of learned like, well, kind of gained like two different things. For the spiritual lesson, it was more so like being a blessing doesn't have to be this really big thing, because a lot of times I don't think what I'm doing is much. So it doesn't seem like it should mean much, but simply just showing up to do VBS for the kids was more than enough for them to like shower us with gratitude and love. And I realized that it's like in the little things that mean the most to people. And another lesson I learned was just like, well, another like commitment I made after this uh trip was just to try more new things. Like things I don't know every detail, but still doing it anyway. Because I remember from when the mission trip was first announced, I was like, I've never done that before. I'm not sure if I really want to do that. I've never been outside the country without my parents before. I'm not really sure. But I just said yes anyway. And then from that point forward till executing everything, it has been worth it and I regret nothing. So thank you.